Right, and then we have the possibility to manage configurations, schemas and users, and upgrades, and then this developer studio where you can load, where you can actually create JavaScripts for the to do certain things, whatever you like. It's a programming language. You can do pretty much most things. Then, of course, we have also the possibility to add a load balancer, for example. So if you would like to add an HA proxy, you can select the nodes that you want to include in the HA proxy load balancer and where you want to install the HA proxy. And if the server is not in the list, you just key in the server address. And in the same fashion, you can also install a max scale load balancer if you wish. And it's the same idea there. You set up which nodes that you want to include in the load balancing set. Okay, I think it's time actually to move over to look over the features, for example, around key management. So let's start with that. And in the key management, it is possible to manage basically CAs and keys. And it is possible to create self-signed certificates and also use your own CA if you have one. But I'm going to show you just a simple way here how to set up a self-signed CA and key. And then we just key in a name here, webinar, and I just give it some dummy data here, more or less random. And then I press generate, and then a certificate called webinar 2 has now been created. I will then take this certificate and I want to apply it because I want to enable SSL on this MySQL or MariaDB Galera cluster that I have here. So I just go into the menu here and choose an enable SSL encryption. And as you can see, it is also possible to enable the actual Galera replication as well. The Galera replication is, the replication internally between the nodes. So that is then fully possible to enable SSL on as well. But now I'm interested in setting up SSL because I want to have my clients that are talking and using my cluster. I want to make sure that they are communicating with my database in a secure way. So I choose here that I would like to enable it, and I press then which certificate I want to use. And then I have the option here to either, do the restart nodes now, or I don't want to restart the nodes. So I have to restart the nodes at some stage because the SSL keys, setting the SSL CA, SSL cert, and SSL key in the MySQL configuration files is actually requires a restart of the node to load up those features. And I want to restart the nodes right now. But if you are, and what we will do here during this restart is that we'll do a rolling restart. So we'll restart one node at a time. So first one node, make sure it gets back into a good state again, and then we will go on and take the next node. But if you want to do it in some other way, manual or whatever, then you press do not restart nodes now. So I will start the enable SSL encryption job here, And the job is starting here, and some things are starting to happen. And while this is running, because it's pretty quick to set up the certificates and update the MySQL parameters that are needed, but the rolling restart will take a little bit of time. So in the time being, I will show you the operational reports. And the operational reports, it's an area where we are doing quite a lot actually, and more, I can just say immediately right now that more things will come here. But we are currently creating 3 different types of report. One report has the name default report, and it is basically a sysadmin report that gives you, a comparison what has happened, what is, what's different between yesterday and today, basically. And then the backup report and then the availability report, will go into them soon. But I will start with showing you the default cluster report. And it's more techy kind of report where you can see the status of the nodes of the time that you created the report. You can see, what are the top queries that have happened on your cluster when, up to the point in time when you created the report. And then comparisons basically between today and yesterday for a number of metrics. And we do it for each node here, so you could then enjoy it and scroll through here, right? If it is something particular, you will want to check. But as I said, also we have the advisors, so we are also creating a number of checks, and we will notify you if, for example, you're running out of disk space, for example. But anyways, this can be interesting to compare, usage patterns from one day to another. Okay, then I will show you, before I show you the backup and availability report, I will show you how to actually create these reports. I think that could be actually a good start here. So you can actually choose the default report. And the default report is something that you have to, is created on a per cluster basis. So if you want to create the default report on cluster 1, I haven't named them really to anything good here, but cluster 1 is one of the clusters. And then you will create this report on this cluster. And then if you want to submit, you can add in here email addresses, so that you could, when this report is ready, your colleagues could receive a copy on email of the report, right? The report will be attached in an email to the email recipients. Then you can create an availability report. And the availability report is a global report. It gives a summary for all clusters that you have. So if you are a user or a customer with many clusters, then I think the availability report give a good overview of your availability. Then, and it's the same thing here. You add the email who wants to receive the report, and the backup report is also a report spanning all clusters. So this is good if you have many clusters, for example, and you want to make sure that you have a good backup policy set, that you are creating the backups and they are not failing and they are successful and so on, because backups is, as you all know, a pretty important aspect of databases. Right. Also, before I show the reports, I want to show you also that it is possible to create schedules. So if you want to, create a schedule, I want to have a backup report, I want to have it daily or weekly, a day of the week, and so on. Then you can also add in, the email recipients into the schedule here, right? And then well, the report will be then scheduled and run. Now let's go back to the backup report, and let's look at availability report first. Now I have been pretty lucky with my 3 clusters that I have been running. They haven't had any downtime at all, and the availability is 100%. But then, if you have a good eye here, you will see that the availability of a node that is part of cluster 1 is actually a bit lower, and this one is a little bit lower, and this one is not 100% either. So how can the cluster availability be 100%? Well, it's because that these nodes have not been failing at the same time, and when the cluster is in an operational state, we increment the availability, so to say. So if we are here, I think this pattern that we see here, online, shutdown, recovery, online, for each node here, indicates that we have been doing some kind of rolling restart here, right? And if we're doing a rolling restart, then well, the cluster is operational during the rolling restart. So the cluster is up. So the availability of the entire cluster is not affected, but the availability of each individual node will, of course, go down when you do a rolling restart. And here you have the same idea here for each individual cluster.